So the first thing I tried was sales. And I, believe it or not, was a fuller brush salesman. And I did that for exactly a week. And I learned something about myself. And what I learned was that it really bothered me when people were mean. It really bothered me when people slammed the door in my face. And I came to the conclusion, not at that moment, but years later, I was better at doing favors than asking for favors. So I said, let me try the restaurant business. I had worked at restaurants. I didn't love them. I didn't say, wow, this is a passion of mine. And for the first time when I was in my early 20s, I really immersed myself in the restaurant business. I don't know if it was because I had nothing else that I could do or I actually found a love, but something clicked. And when I got serious about it and started doing it full time, I started loving it. There were so many people that copied what we did that it actually bothered me. And I said, well, when we do the second restaurant, I'm going to do it different. And the second restaurant we did was called Fritz That's It in Evanston in 1973. And it actually wasn't that different. As I look back at it, it had a different name and a little different look, and the menu was maybe 70% what Grunts was and 30% different. But by the time we did our third restaurant, which was maybe a year or so later, I really did it differently. And so originally I did it for two reasons. I didn't want people to copy me, or if they were going to copy me, they had to realize that I was going to do a bunch of different things. And number two, I didn't want to travel. And I said, if we do one thing like R.J. Grunts and we have to keep repeating it, I'm going to have to travel to farther distances in Chicago or Illinois or out of the state. But if I kept doing different things, I could do them in the areas that I wanted to be in. That was my logic. I think I understand partnerships. I am not going to tell you that every partner I've ever had has felt fulfilled. I mean, I've had partners that have gone out on their own. They needed to do their own thing. I certainly understand it. I had to do my own thing. But for the most part, I like to think that I'm a good partner, that I care about partners' success, and I want partners to have what they need and to be successful in any way that they need to be successful. The majority of the working partners we have, I need to help run the business as we expand. When we work on a restaurant, I never think of a theme, nor do I like even being known as a theme restaurant organization. What we do is we start in the test kitchen. And the food is always the single most important thing in terms of longevity. And if you take a look at our history, we've had a lot of longevity. And that comes about because of food and service and caring and all the other things that go along with it, not themes. I think that I have made more mistakes than any restaurateur in Chicago. And I say that because we've opened to date maybe 140 some restaurants, different restaurants in our career. Maybe that's been 75 different types of restaurants. So every time I do that, I like to think that if I'm right 70% of the time, I'm doing well. The idea is to take the 30% of the time that I make the mistakes and change them quickly. Hopefully I can change them within a month or two. I came from a lower middle class family. I didn't have a lot. I thought I was going to fail with our first restaurant. I never take success for granted. I like to think I'm paranoid in a very healthy way. And the day that I stop trying will be the day that I'll retire, the day that I don't care. I care immensely about being successful. I am afraid of failure. I'm embarrassed by failure. And I think that's what drives me. I have a tremendous amount of drive still, and it's not related to the dollars.